Hey everyone, this is John from MotionWorks, and I was thinking this morning, in these tip tutorials, I generally try to show you something that's short but useful in After Effects. And I was wondering now, what could I possibly show you guys now? And it occurred to me that there's nothing really out there that is short and to the point and walks through all of the After Effects effects, the default effects, including the Psycho effects that ship with After Effects, A to Z. So I've decided in this series of tips that I'm going to walk you through, and not just me, I'm going to get some guest presenters from around the world to present some of these, walk you through the effects one by one. We're not going to go through in huge detail, just introduce you to the effect and learn a little bit about what it can be used for and where you can find some more resources. Okay, so let's just jump straight in. The first effect we're going to look at is the Add Grain effect. Now, Add Grain is used to composite CG renders or blue screen or green screen footage, or even to add grain to a full CG scene. There is a similar effect in After Effects called Match Grain, and that shares many of the same controls. The key things to know about Add Grain is that it generates new noise from nothing. What you do is you use presets to match different types of film stock, and then you tweak that using the tweaking controls. Match Grain, which we'll cover when we get to the M section of this series, takes samples from existing noise. Now I've got this frame here which is a render from Cinema 4D, so let's apply the effect by choosing Effect, Noise and Grain, Add Grain, and I don't use this effect a lot. I've used it once or twice, and I certainly don't use all of the settings that it has. I think if you're working for film you'd need the huge amount of control that Add Grain has, but certainly not an effect that I use a lot. Let's just take a look at some of the basic settings. First thing you'll notice is this preview box, and I can actually drag this around and preview the noise on different parts of my image. You can change the viewing mode up here from preview to final output. The preset pop-up is where you choose the different film stocks. You've also got a preview region section, and once again you can drag the preview area around when preview is on. Change the width and height, and choose to show the box. Let's just take this back to final output. Once you've got your basic preset set up, you can come in and tweak the settings. I generally tend to drop the intensity right down. You've got settings here for different RG and B channels. You can adjust the intensities individually, and you can adjust the size of the grain on the different channels individually. In the color section you can choose between monochromatic noise, or you can adjust the saturation of the default color noise. You can even tint the noise. Under application you can choose different blending modes for the noise. Multiply, add, screen, overlay. And you can adjust the midtones, highlights and midpoint, and adjust the shadows, midtones and highlights for all the individual channels. Animation is where you go to adjust the animation speed of the noise. There's also a random seed setting here as well. And there's also blend with original. It's always handy to have a blend with original. Here you can adjust the amount that the noise blends with the original image. And there's various matte and mask settings. You can choose to color match your noise. And this setting here, masking layer, is handy because you can choose an After Effects layer as a mask to control where the noise affects your layer. So you can see with all of the parameters twirled down, it's a pretty huge effect with a lot of control. If you want to find more information about the effect, or really any effect for After Effects, the best place to start, I think, is the effect galleries. Now you can see I've already typed in here effects galleries in After Effects CS4 in the search box. So if you're connected to the internet, that'll take you to the community help, and the top choice here is the effects galleries. So if we go into there, what you'll see in here is all of the categories, and I can choose, let's say, noise and grain, and here you'll find a representative frame of the different effects. And if I click on Add Grain, you'll get some detailed information about the effect. So that's a good starting place. A couple of other good resources include this one here. There's a tutorial by David Torno on the Pro Video Coalition website. And this is grain matching, but it actually shows you how to use these settings in the Add Grain effect. There's also the excellent book by Mark Christensen, the After Effects CS4 Studio Techniques book. And if you're doing any kind of color correcting or any VFX work in After Effects, then you really have to have this book. Chapter 9 has a section on working with grain. And I'm sure I'm going to mention this a number of times when we talk about other effects in this A to Z series. So a lightning fast look at the add grain effect. And lightning is very poignant because the next effect we're going to be looking at in this series is the advanced lightning effect. But for now, this is John Dickinson from MotionWorks. Have fun, be creative, and we'll see you in the next tip.